To Michigan we go for the beer that has been voted the best beer in America for 4 straight years by the American Home Brewers Association, and the brewery has as well. This is Bell's Two-Hearted Ale, the most popular American IPA, which is quite a feat. Now, Two-Hearted Ale's name traces its roots to the Two-Hearted River in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, well north of the main brewery in Comstock. The Two-Hearted River is a body of water famous for fly fishing, several species of trout, hence the fish on the label, and a 2-part novel by Ernest Hemingway in 1925 called Big Two-Hearted River. Now, according to pelliclemag.com, the beer traces its roots back to 1995 when a brewer named Rob Scala, who tragically passed away in 2007 at the young age of 38, suggested an all-centennial IPA to founder Larry Bell. Now, the hop was almost discontinued before Ralph Olson of Hop Union saved the hop production and decided to rename it, calling it Centennial in 1989 to commemorate the 100th birthday of Washington's statehood. Now, according to the company website, Bell's Two-Hearted Ale was really first debuted in the 1980s, but as a completely different beer than we know of now. It was a pale ale brewed with English malt and Wisconsin-grown hops, the Two Hearts. Now, the Two-Hearted Ale we know today debuted in 1997 as a winter seasonal before becoming a year-round brew in 2003. It's been the brewery's best-selling beer since 2013 and pretty much its flagship and most well-known, along with the seasonal release of their double IPA, Hop Slam, following closely behind. Now, from Bell's website, it's brewed with 100% Centennial hops from the Pacific Northwest and named after the Two-Hearted River in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Our American IPA is bursting with hop aromas ranging from pine to grapefruit from massive hop additions in both the kettle and the fermenter. Perfectly balanced with a malt backbone and combined with the signature fruity aromas of Bell's house yeast, Two-Hearted is remarkably drinkable and well-suited for adventures everywhere. It comes into us at 7% ABV, 212 calories per serving, and if you go on their website looking for their IBUs, they make you click on a link that says, "Why don't we list IBUs?" And then when you click on that link, it tells you how many IBUs are in Two-Hearted Ale, which is 60. But it does have a little disclaimer about that, saying there is a difference between absolute bitterness and perceived bitterness. IBUs are useful for home brewers for the purpose of clone recipes, but it doesn't always tell the whole story. Expedition Stout is a good example. It has more IBUs than more traditional hoppy beers like Two-Hearted and Hop Slam. For food pairings, Bell's recommends oysters, barbecue, brisket, cilantro, blue cheese, coriander, cumin, balsamic, and chili. For sweet foods, how about apples, grapefruit, carrot cake, maple syrup, and caramel? And if you want to get eccentric, curried vegetable soup. There's also a number of recipes using the Two-Hearted Ale, including spicy caramel corn, chicken tacos, tandoori Two-Hearted chicken wings, and Two-Hearted buffalo sauce. Now, in my review posted to YouTube on February 21st, 2013, I noted the California West Coast citrusy grapefruit smell with pine needles. Now, even liking it to an air freshener, but in a good way. I was taken over by the subtlety of the taste while being very full and drinkable, and I believed it to be well worth the hype and reviews. I called it the epitome of India Pale Ales and gave Bell's Two-Hearted Ale a perfect score of 10 out of 10. Well, here's the big question. Is it still the epitome of American India Pale Ales? Bell's Two-Hearted Ale, it's lasted for a very long time, and as I mentioned, it's won the Best Beer in the World award from the American Home Brewers Association for 4 years in a row. Of course, the year that we're doing this is 2021, so by the time you're watching it, if it's a couple years in the future, it could be 5-6 years in a row. 4, yeah, it already is 4. So this beer definitely has long-lasting qualities, and I believe it beat out what it would have to have beaten out, like Russian River, Pliny the Elder, like beers like that, which are world-renowned as well. By the way, Russian River, we need to get you in Pennsylvania, really. I mean, the only time I've ever had Russian River, well, I did have it in Pennsylvania on tap at a bar, but never been able to bring it home other than smuggling it from California. So, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Bell's Two-Hearted Ale. Very happy to crack this open again. It's a shelf life of 6 months. The born-on date was December 2nd, 2020. It is right now March 3rd, 2020, so we're in that midway point of its shelf life, well within the range. Still got 3 months to go before we start worrying about freshness. So, as you can see, I used to think that fish was a two-hearted fish, like the name of the fish was Two-Hearted, but it's the river that's Two-Hearted. I don't know why. And I didn't really check the preamble of my first review of Two-Hearted that I did back in 2013, so maybe I covered that and just forgot it. Could be one of those things that I said, oh, that's interesting. I always thought it was this way, and then forgot that it was the other way and thought it was the original way that I thought it was anyway. But anyway, let's serve it into this tulip glass, see what we got. We got that nice orange head, amber color, with or orange body, I should say, amber color, with a finger, maybe a little bit less than a finger of head. Nice frothiness to this beer, nice bubbles. Aroma-wise, definitely getting a citrusy aroma. So this is weird. Okay, very subtle pine. I was going to say, I'm not really getting the pine, and I did make that a big point of my first review, saying that the pine was pretty prevalent, but I am getting a little bit. It's not quite that wafting, unbelievable, like, hit you in the nose kind of pine, but still there nonetheless. Yeah, very, very fresh smell. Does it smell like an air freshener? Maybe a little bit of a subtle air freshener, but a very pleasant aroma. Cheers. All right, yeah, very citrusy, very biting. This has more of a bite to it than I kind of remember. Definitely has a great malty backbone that it boasts, I should say, and it bites at the end of it. I mean, it really does have a little bit of a harshness. Dare I say a little too harsh? This might not be a 10 out of 10 for me the second time around. So I would say freshness and crispness are definitely there. The pininess isn't quite as prevalent as I kind of remembered it. It's there, but the harshness in the back of the throat is a little much, which maybe my tastes have changed over the last 8 years, or maybe I just wasn't able to review with the plethora of beers that I've had over the time. So I'm going to have to give this less of a score than I gave it the first time. I gave it a perfect score, 10 out of 10. Maybe I got lost in the hype of it. I don't know. But this time around, even though it's a great beer and I don't want to get slammed for this, hop slammed, I should say. Just kidding. I'm going to go ahead and give Bell's Two Hearted a good score. I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. Not quite the perfect score I gave it last time. Could be a variety of reasons, but freshness shouldn't be one of them since there's still 3 months left in the freshness time.